What do you fear? Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented and beautiful wife, and best friend, Brooke. And now on to our topic. What do you fear? So this might seem like a provocative question to lead in with, but it's so relevant to actors. Let's start by defining a few of the categories of people that might strike fear into an actor. Casting directors, agents, managers, teachers, fellow actors. I want to talk briefly about each of these and hopefully dispel some of the fear for you. Let's start with your competition. That is, actors in your market that seem to always go out for the same roles as you. If you look at them as competition, well, then you have a lot to learn about the casting process and what your ultimate goal is as an actor at those auditions. In a nutshell, don't get caught thinking there's some sort of predetermined performance that's going to book the job, and therefore the actor that does that performance best will book it. And if you don't book it, then clearly your competition was doing better than you. Not the case. Now, training is hugely important, and so if you don't have substantial training on your resume and those other actors in your category do, well, that will factor into how often they get cast versus you. So you should be consistently taking classes so that your craft doesn't become a limiting factor for you and that you're always ready when it's game time. So that your goal becomes that wherever you are in your craft at that moment, you're just trying to bring forward the most authentic version of yourself that fits that character. That necessarily means it won't be some approximation of an imaginary performance that you think casting is waiting to see. And it also means no one else can approximate you. So focus on you and only you when you're auditioning. And don't fear your competition. Now, as a side note, if those other actors in your category have much more established relationships with the casting directors in your market, then that will also contribute to maybe how often they're booking compared to you. But you can't really change their relationship to the casting directors, so focus on your relationship to the casting directors by doing what Steve Martin says. Be so good, they can't ignore you. And that will help you build those relationships over time so that you can even that playing field. Next, I want to talk about acting teachers and coaches. And this one will be short, because if any person who is in that position as a mentor to you, as a coach, as a teacher, if they are creating fear in you for any reason whatsoever, run. Now. Get out. Because if they need actors to fear them in order to feel powerful, then it just means that they're jaded about their own relationship to the industry and they're taking it out on you. And that's not healthy. They will try to convince you of their authority by bragging about how good they are, how well respected they are, how many actors have achieved success because of their blah, 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 blah. Who cares? A teacher should build you up, not, I repeat, not tear you down, full stop. And finally, let's talk about fear of casting directors, managers, or agents. This is the most common source of fear in actors, and unfortunately, it tends to last the longest in us. Why? Well, because all of the people in this group represent gatekeepers to potential opportunities. So most actors will do anything to please them, or at least not do anything to end up on their bad side. And that's reasonable, because they are, after all, gatekeepers. Furthermore, there is a lot to learn about how this industry works, and some of that is specific to your market. So it's good to defer to the agent or the manager or the casting director on what their preferences are and what their idiosyncrasies are. In this world of self-taping, there are self-tape instructions, labeling instructions, upload instructions, NDAs, and so forth. So I get it. There's a lot to learn, and that learning curve can be steep, but you should not live in fear of these people. They're just trying to help you succeed by achieving and maintaining a minimum standard across all actors to keep them organized. So if you perceive your manager or agent as threatening you, are they really? Or are they just trying to get you to maintain the same standard that every other actor that they represent maintains? Now, if your agent does threaten you in some way over email or over the phone, well, that's a huge red flag, especially if you know you've been professional and diligent to maintain the standards they've set forth. And likewise, you shouldn't live in fear of casting. Sure, they have their pet peeves and idiosyncrasies of how they like things done, but they're human, just like you. As long as you're approaching your relationship with them with discipline and respect, you should never have to fear them. Now, I should say that on rare occasions, people in these positions of power are actually abusive to actors, and hopefully those people get called out and that actors aren't afraid to speak up so that that pattern of behavior can't continue. But by and large, most of the time, these people are not trying to instill fear in you. They're, again, just trying to maintain standards so that they can do their job efficiently. It is us, the actors, that then receive that as something that we should be fearful of. Now, one of the ways I can tell an actor is living in fear is, well, they just tell me. But if they don't overtly say it, then sometimes they display it during their audition taping session, or even sometimes on screen. Some actors display this fear when they hesitate to book a vacation for fear of missing out on some opportunity or making their agent mad for booking out for certain dates that end up conflicting with a potential job that they might book. Actors will also compromise other parts of their life, thinking that every potential opportunity is going to be their big break, therefore they can't miss out on it. And that's just FOMO, and it's just general fear that you're living in. In the end, this is such an easy trap to fall into, so if you're experiencing it, you're in good company. I've been there. But never fear, just take a moment to realize what really matters in this short time that we've been given on this earth. And remind yourself that if you're living in fear of someone in this industry, you either need to reframe your point of view on that relationship, or if it truly is toxic, then you need to cut off that relationship right now for your own mental well-being. Because here's the bottom line. If you're living in fear now, when will that end? When you get that booking? Doubt it. So when? It can end right now if you want it to. Because remember, unless someone is truly threatening you, fear equals false evidence appearing real. And that just means that it's all up here, and you get to choose when to stop thinking that way. This industry has a lot of obstacles in front of you. So if you navigate that journey in a fear-based mentality instead of joy, for instance, then it's going to be a long, treacherous road ahead of you. As always, if you have questions or comments, drop them below. Otherwise, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.